Welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to share with you guys what EveryDollar is. There may be some of you who have been interested in EveryDollar but aren't quite sure how it works or wanted to know a little bit more before starting it, or you may have no clue what EveryDollar is. And so I wanted to share what it is, how to use it, and maybe it will help you out. For me, I've been wanting to share it with you guys just because it's helped me out so much. It's helped me manage my money and make sure that it stayed efficient. So let's go ahead and get started. First, I want to talk about what EveryDollar is. So EveryDollar is an app created by Dave Ramsey, who, if you're not familiar with, has helped so many people get out of debt, gain control of their finances, and basically just change their lives financially. And so he created this app so you can not only budget your money, but create a budget so every dollar has its purpose. And that's called a zero-based budget. So if you were to earn $3,400 next month, this budget would allow you to use every single dollar of that $3,400 to either go towards expenses, debt, saving, sinking funds, all that good stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to use this in case you're interested, and if you guys want me to in the future, I can always do like a mock budget just to give you guys an idea of how I would do it. But today I'm just going to be going to give you guys a little bit of a tutorial for you. So this is what it looks like when you log in. So you're going to make an account. It's going to ask for your email, your name, all that fun stuff. You're going to verify your email, and then it's going to pop up to this. And I believe now they've actually simplified the process for people that are just joining. So ask for your income, all these different expenses that you would be spending on a monthly basis. And then it's going to take you to this. And so the first thing I want to take you through is the toolbar on the left. So EveryDollar is free. You do not have to pay for it, but there is an option for EveryDollar Plus. And basically that helps to link your banking account to EveryDollar, and that way you don't have to manually enter the transactions. I believe it's about $130 a year. I think it's like $129, but don't quote me on that. To me, I find that the free version is just as valuable, and I don't mind putting in the transactions myself. So honestly, I always just recommend the free version. Then you have your budget. So this is what we're looking at now. It shows all your income, your transactions, your expenses, and the percentage of each spending. So I'll go over this in a little bit. Then it has insights. So this is also offered in EveryDollar Plus. So I believe it just shows you exactly how you're spending your money, what categories you're spending in, and I think it just kind of helps you analyze and figure out how to spend your money better. And then you have the baby steps. So for those of you that aren't also aware, Dave Ramsey has created the 7 baby steps. It's very popular. A lot of people use it. I use it as well, and I'm on step 2. But basically, this is kind of like a checklist. So as you're going through each month and budgeting, it kind of tells you and keeps track of when you've saved up your $1,000 for your emergency fund, when you've paid off all your debt, when you've had 3 to 6 months of expenses, all the way down to his 7th step for his baby step program. So that's pretty cool. And then Ramsey Pros is also, I believe, in the EveryDollar Plus. I think it's just different people that can help you. And then Learn. So this is where you can learn more about it, and this is also included in the EveryDollar Plus. Like I said, I only have the free version, so I don't use those. I don't feel like I need those, but maybe for someone that's just starting out, maybe you would want to spend a little bit extra of money to get professional help. You have the Help Center, so if you have any problems with the EveryDollar app, you can go ahead and click here, and then you have settings. And then of course you have your login information here at the bottom left, and you just sign out there whenever you're done. Then moving back onto the top, you have the month of the current budget, and then if you click on the down arrow, you have the options to go back in previous months as long as you've already created those. Obviously, if you haven't created those budgets in the past, you can't look back. And then if you wanted to start your budget for the future months, you can go ahead and click on it anytime. It will look like this, and you'll just say start planning for that month. But I'm going to go back to May. And then you have on the right hand side, sorry my little recorder is blocking this, but you have your accounts and your transactions. So your accounts, that's also where you'd be linking your checking account to your EveryDollar app. So if you had EveryDollar Plus, I believe that's where you would access. Sorry about that. So the UPS truck came and Lisa went crazy. So I just wanted to go over the accounts and transactions again. So the accounts button at the top right is going to be for those that have EveryDollar Plus and want to link their checking account to EveryDollar. So I believe this just kind of allows you to modify, possibly change things. I don't know exactly because I don't have EveryDollar Plus, but I believe that's where you would change or modify that information. And then you have transactions here. So if you were to click on it, it shows as a place where you can add new transactions, and we'll list it here by date. And then if you have any tracked, you can view which ones have already been entered in by you or your banking account. And then if you deleted any, that's where it would be there. So there you go. And then if you were to exit out of that again, this is like an overview for your income and your expenses. So this is like a little graph, and it will color in for each category as you earn and spend your money. And then as you also enter those transactions, it will give you a percentage of your spending, and that goes towards your income. So this is your plan. This is what your first budget is going to look like. So say you think you're going to be spending $50 for giving, it's going to be $50 here. Then spent is going to be your actual expense list. So say you thought you were going to budget $50, but you're only able to put $40 in giving. That's exactly what would show here. And then remaining would show here. So say you had for debt, you were planning to put $500 towards debt, but you've only made minimum payments of $300, so then it should show you $200 here in the remaining column. All right, so now we're going to go through each category. Now, what's great about EveryDollar is you can edit, you can change all of this, so it's really versatile for literally anyone. So say someone was married, you can put your husband's name, say his name was Bob, whoops, going a little too fast there, and your name was Mary. You can go ahead and do it by person. You can literally do it by paycheck and list it out. And you can just keep adding. There's no limit. And say you wanted, let's say we had sinking, some other form of income. So let's say yard sale, I don't know, something random. And you wanted to move it up so it was above or lower, you can just move it up. You just kind of hover over the income or expense that you want to move. You wait for those 6 dots to show, and then you just move it up and down as you want. So that's really nice. Then here, it just shows what your planned budget income is going to be. So say paycheck 1, I wanted $500, or I thought would be $500. It shows planned there. Received shows 0 here. And then if I wanted to enter my income, you can either go to transactions add new, it's going to have this little window pop up. You're going to go to income. It's going to turn blue. Make sure it turns blue if you're wanting to add income. Expense is what always pops up first. So if you're not paying attention, you're in a hurry, this is what it's going to look like, and it's going to keep it or track it as an expense and not income. So you're going to make sure it's on income. You're going to put the amount. Oops. You're going to put the date. And you can either put, everything that's on EveryDollar is from one bank account that I use, besides my savings. I mean, my savings account is linked to this, but it's not obviously the same as my checking account. So sometimes I'll put if it was my checking or savings, or if it was income, I would be more specific. Or if it was an expense, I would put exactly what the item was or what the place was if I wasn't very specific in the category. And then you just go to choose budget item and you click on the category that you want. So list all the categories. I'm just going to click paycheck 1, track income, and now it shows that I received $500. If you don't want to do it that way, I find it's a little bit easier to just click on it. The income or expense, it works for either. You're just going to go to add new and it already shows income. So that's a little bit easier for me, but either way works for you. And then they have different categories. So you can also change these categories. Say you didn't have room in your budget for giving, or you just wanted to name it something else, specifically like charity, and you can list all these different charities. You can definitely do that. You can also delete it if you feel like that you just want it gone. Maybe you have a lot of stuff and it's just easier to delete the whole thing and start new by adding a new one, or you just don't need it anymore, you can delete it. Again, you can also move these around if you wanted to. It has the plan, and then for expenses, you have the option of seeing how much you spent or how much you have remaining. So it shows either, which is the same as here. You have spent or remaining. All right. So now going down to the different categories, you have savings. And this is where you'd put your sinking funds. So here's your emergency fund. You can tell that it's a sinking fund or a fund by having the little piggy bank to the left of the name. So if you were to click on it, you can set the due date for the month if you wanted to. I don't do that. You can add notes if you want. And then for your fund details, you can put this information like the starting balance, how much you're planning to spend this month, and then it tracks how much you actually spent, and then you can put your goal. And then it does have a little help question thing here at the bottom if you have any questions. Now, the thing is, say, I know, was it last year? I think it was in the beginning of using this. I started a sinking fund, and then things changed with my income and my expenses, and so I was no longer to put money towards that sinking fund, and so it wasn't the same as what I had here. I didn't really keep track of it. I didn't change anything on here. So on EveryDollar, I'm sorry if this is confusing, but say my sinking fund was for vacation. I was putting money in, and then all of a sudden I had a lot of bills, so I had to put that on pause. And what I ended up doing was putting that money that was for vacation towards, say, a medical fund or something else more important. So on EveryDollar, it still showed I had $40 in my vacation fund, but in reality I didn't, because I moved it into my medical fund. So that would be that is something to think about. If you need to change it, you can only change it from the current month. So say I realize that now, then in the current month, not the month that it changed or things happened in the current month, you can go ahead and change it to 0. And that's how you do it. You just hit save. Alright, now to show you how to set up a fund, you're going to go to add item and say I wanted to set up a medical fund. You're going to make this a fund. You're going to click the blue button, make this a fund. You're going to hit 0 because most people start off with 0. Maybe some people have saved money aside before making a sinking fund, so you would put whatever that amount is if you had any. And then your savings goal, say, is $2,000. You're going to save, and then you're planning to put $200 this month. So now, after clicking out of it, I'm going to click back into it, go to Fund Details, and now it shows that I have $200 remaining, and I'm planning to do $200. Now, say I was planning $200, but then I had a copay that I didn't have the money budgeted in my budget, and so you're going to go to Add New, which was at the bottom right. You're going to put the amount, the date, any notes that you want, and you're going to put in the medical fund. And then you're going to track expense, and now it shows that I spent $25 in that fund. And now if you scroll up, whoops, sorry about that, it shows here you have remaining $175, and then if you go into fund details, it also shows here the $175 fund balance. So that's how you would set up your fund, as well as enter and modify your transactions. As far as any other transaction, you have housing. So this is pretty much all their categories. Like I said, you can remove them if you feel like you don't need it. I personally am still living with my parents, so I don't pay mortgage or rent, so I would get rid of this, as well as all these utilities. You can also leave it there in case you think things are going to change. And as far as normal transactions, you're just literally going to do the same thing as the income. You're going to click on it. You're going to go to Add New. And then you're going to make sure it's on expense. You don't want to hit income. And then you're going to put the amount, same information, your date, any notes, and you're going to go track expense. Now it shows that I spent $1,500. So you notice that it turns red if it's more than you've budgeted. So keep that in mind. Which is also great, because say you weren't planning to spend $25 in a medical fund, or I'm sorry, say you weren't planning on going to your doctor, so now you have a $25 copay that you need to pay. You would go down to doctor's visits. You'd go here, enter $25. I usually put the doctor and then copay, and then it shows red, and that way you're aware. Now, as you can see, I'm going to go ahead and delete that really quick. Now it's back to 0, and then I'm just going to change the mortgage and rent really quick. And I'm going to delete that. So if I was too fast and you didn't notice that, you can either go to transactions, tracked, and then you can go to delete, or you can click on each transaction in that specific category and then hit edit and delete. That's just usually the way I've done it, but like I said, you can do either way. Either way works fine. So you've noticed that I've had $500 entered, and then I have entered $200 into the medical fund. At the top left, it keeps track of how much money you have left to budget, which is great, because sometimes I enter 0, say for like extra debt, I'll put the minimum payments on those certain debts, and then I'll see how much I have left to budget. I'll kind of wait and see how the month is panning out, and then I'll add that left over to the extra debt, or sometimes I'm just not sure what I want to do with that money, or I've put in more income and I'm not exactly sure if I'm going to be receiving all that amount. So that's great. Definitely keep your eye on this as you put your tracking your expenses. And let's say that I'm going to just show you guys what it looks like when you no longer have any money left to budget. So once you've put each dollar, and had its own purpose for it, it's going to say it's an EveryDollar budget. So I'm going to go $50 here, and I'm going to do $150. I know this is not a real budget, I'm just trying to get it to say EveryDollar. So now, say that I still have a few more expenses. So now I've entered $50 more than I actually budgeted for. So now it's going to show in red how much I'm over budget. So that's great. This is one of the places I look at the most. First thing I log in, I see what my budget looks like that day, and if anything needs to change. Alright, so now I'm just going to quickly go back over the categories, and then I believe I went through everything. Okay, so after the housing category, you have transportation, so you have gas, maintenance. I have AAA, so maybe you want to put that there. You also have food, so you have groceries. I believe this one had a restaurant, but I changed it to eating out just because restaurants to me seem like more dine-in restaurants, even though I know fast food places are technically called fast food restaurants. It just makes sense for eating out, because that also would refer to me as far as getting a frozen yogurt or going to Starbucks if I wanted any. So that's why I changed it. And then it has personal spending, so you have clothing, your phone, fun money, hair and cosmetics, any subscriptions, lifestyle, you have pet care, child care, entertainment, miscellaneous. And then under their health, they have gym, medicine, and vitamins, as well as doctor visits. And then you have insurance, so you have health insurance, life insurance, auto insurance, homeowner and renter insurance, and identity theft. And then you have debt, so you have credit card, car payment, student loan, medical bill, personal loan. Honestly, it seems like they've thought of everything as far as expenses. This honestly works for anyone and everyone, and that's why I love it so much. And I'm actually hoping to get my parents to start using this because I feel like this would benefit them a lot. But yeah, this is pretty much what EveryDollar is all about. I hope this helped anyone that was kind of on the fence or wasn't really sure what it was about, but was curious to kind of see what it looked like. And please let me know if you already are using EveryDollar, if you think you're going to, or if you found something better that works for you. I would love to know. So that pretty much concludes everything for this video. Please don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you are notified and aware of when I post new videos. And if you did enjoy this video, please don't forget to hit that like button. And I will see you guys next time. You guys have a great day. Bye.